everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello. Welcome to episode 3 of the TBR Sidequest. This time around, we're going to be doing a recent releases edit because there are a number of books that I've gotten my hands on that I am kind of excited to get to that are more recent releases. So added on to the TBR's most recently kind of vibe. I have many options I could do with these. I have so many, but these are 3 that I would like to focus on, with a 4th that might be a potentially also a 5th that could be discussed and added onto this here TBR, but this is a spoiler for one of them. This is what I've got planned anyways, and I have an idea of which one I want to start with. So the potentials for this here vlog, if you're new here, the rules of this here TBR side quest of mine, this is an attempt to shrink my TBR down to 150 books because it got to a point last year where it was, I think it just hit like 200 or was just above 200. That's incredibly overwhelming for me. So I wanted to take that number, shrink it down back to 150 books on the TBR before I let myself buy another book. That does not include pre-orders that I have made, and I am allowing myself to get Aardvark book boxes from the Aardvark book box, 1 or 2, and depending. Usually, if there isn't anything that's like super like, yes, I want this, I will skip it for the month. That book actually could be another option. I have an Aardvark book box on the way with 1 book in it from February's books, and I'm really excited about the book inside it as well. So we have lots of options for this one. We're gonna just be focusing on reading some books off the TBR that are newer releases, and I'm excited about it. I believe we are at 188 books on the TBR as of right now. So what have I read recently? I did haul 3 books in January, so I had my 2 Aardvark book box books, of which I believe these ones right here. We have an Emily Austen, which is This a Cry for Help? And also an Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole. So these were the 2 book box books that I picked. And I also have a pre-order for Monocle Black Goose's sequel to Shape a Dragon's Breath, which also came out, which is To Ride a Rising Storm. So I got my pre-order for that right at the end of the month. Then I also got my first pre-order of February in, which is Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill, which is the author of one of my favorite books of last year, Green Teeth. This is her 2nd book. I'm so excited about it. I have another pre-order coming in February. I have 1 more in February, and it is Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Cafe by Heather Fawcett. So I'm very excited about that. We have hauled so far 4 books in 2026, and I have read 2 books off of my physical TBR. I started the year with The Godcatcher by Erin Evans, and then I read Octavia E. Butler's Dawn just this last week to like try and bring this number back down. Doesn't matter. To start this episode, we are at 188 books. So let's see how many TBR books we can read this down. I have not been very good at reading my TBR books in 2026 so far because I've read 2 and it's February. I read 1 in January and 1 so far in February. So this is me catching up for that. I have many books that I would really like to be reading as well. I think I'm going to do another TBR side quest where I do like 2nd books in series or like continuing series, like that kind of a thing. That's possibly what I'm going to do next, because I have a hankering to start to reread Bloodmarked and then get into Oathbound by Tracy Dion. So potentially that one, I don't know. We'll see, but that's next episode talking. This one, we're talking right now about recent releases. So you've already seen a couple of them, a couple of the options. So of course we have Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill, which is actually what inspired this video because I really want to read this. And I was like, how can I sneak this into a TBR side quest? Of course, I also have an Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole, which I would like to read next. Like, this is what I want to pick up first out of this video. So this is going to be number 1. I have the audiobook queued up. I'm ready to go. And I have very, very, very low hopes, but like kind of hopes for that one because I've read a Camilla Cole in the past and I fucking hated it. Her dragon book. So I'm really hoping that this one is better. But I'm keeping my hopes nice and low so I can just, you know, vibe. And then I also have The Sacred Space Between by Kaylee Reed, which is something that came out, I believe, at the end of last year. What was the publishing day? This came out just as 2025. So at some point in 2025, this here was released. And this is the UK copy because I like this cover so much better than the US cover. This is also like a slow burning romantic-y type vibe if I want that. And I also have Emily Austen's Is This a Cry for Help, which you saw earlier. This is like this is the wild card option, if you will, which I'm excited about. And other than that, I did mention a couple other things in here, which was the Monocle Black Goose. I also have, I have so many different ones that could be considered for this. Any of like the newer ones that I've brought onto my list at some point. So the 3 that I really want to focus on are these for this video for sure. This one is a possibility. We have some other possibilities that might sneak onto this video if I really want to get to them. But for now, we're going to focus on this and we're going to see where we get to next. But first, An Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole. So this one is a dark academia, I do believe. It says, Ellery Morgan is determined to prove that she belongs at Warren University, an Ivy League school whose history is deeply linked to occult rumors and dark secrets. But as she settles into her freshman year, something about the ornate buildings and shadowy path feels strangely familiar. And with every passing day, that sense of deja vu grows increasingly sinister. Despite all logic, despite all reason, despite all the rules of reality, Ellery knows one thing to be true. She has been here before. And if she can't convince brooding legacy student Hudson Graves to help her remember a past that seems determined to slip through her fingers as if by some insidious magic, this time she may lose herself for good. I like that. I like the sound of that. Ooh, it's blurbed by Chelsea Abdullah, who wrote The Stardust Thief. It says, unforgettable and unputdownable, An Arcane Inheritance is a visceral dream of a novel that will haunt you even in the daylight hours. Camilla Cole has woven a genre-defining triumph. Okay, that sounds great. I also have my Aardvark bookmark in this book ready to go, but we're going to disrobe her and we're gonna get started. Let's do it. But yeah. Welcome to another TBR Sidequest. Hello, friends. It has been a hot second since I last talked to y'all. Update, got this lovely little microphone. We love it so much. I wanted to pop in because I've read a couple books since I last talked to you. First one that was on this specific TBR was An Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole. That book was just fine for me. I enjoyed a lot of the thriller elements in it, but I did find that the book overall was a little unbalanced when it came to plot and execution and the unfolding of story stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It just didn't work for me. And I talk more about it in a vlog, a weekend vlog where I finished it up. So you can go watch that if you want to hear more about it. But I also received Poet Empress from Aardvark, I think. I don't remember if I had that at the time of this specific recording, the vlog clip previous, but I received that one and also have read it. So that like null and void on the TBR. Receive, read. You know what I mean? And then I also have received Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. So this was added on to the TBR. And then I think I read another book off the TBR. Or it was around the same time that I was like, reading things off the TBR. I don't know what this number is at. This is the most accurate number on the side of this, whatever up here. I don't remember what side it's on ever. There is that. I have read some books. I believe for the entirety of 2026 so far, I have read 4 books off of my physical TBR. And I am currently reading another one right now that I was talking to y'all about that I wanted to read for this video, which is Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill. Immediately, this is so different from Green Teeth because Green Teeth immediately is so voicey and so interesting to me. Like that book is just, it's like if you read that book, you're like, oh, this is a perfect Jen book. Like I was reading that book and I was like, oh my God, this is a perfect me book. Like this is exactly it. The banter, the weirdness, the cozy vibe, I don't know. It's exactly it for me. And this book coming in immediately is a completely different voice of a character. It's less outwardly voicey than Green Teeth is because Green Teeth just has a charm to it that I can't even explain. It just, when you read it, you'll know what I mean. Like, it just has a charm, a quirk, and it's so fun. This one, Nightshade and Oak, you're opening up with the goddess of, like, what is she? She's the goddess of death. Okay, she's the goddess of death. Malt is the goddess of death. She's, at the beginning of this, running around doing her duty of, like, freeing all these souls during this war situation. I feel like I should know what this is based on, but I'm not as versed in a lot of the wars between Roman and other people. And because the queen of our second character, Bellis, her mom's name is Boudica. So I should know more about that, but I really don't. And I think it's fascinating that Molly O'Neill is using like not real world touches, because I can't really say Green Teeth was based on real world touches because it's based on mythology around Camelot and that kind of a thing, those kind of creatures and whatever, the Lady of the Lake and all that kind of stuff, right? This one is based on whatever that is. Like, I don't know. I don't know what this is based on. I'm gonna have to go look it up. I feel woefully undereducated on this. I'm having a great time. Yes, it is fictional, obviously, but we're following Milk, and she is Nightshade. She's the Nightshade, and she is a goddess of death who runs around and frees souls to the underworld. She protects the world from wayward spirits, if you will. She's got a pack of dogs at her beck and call. She seems really cool. And then she gets pulled in by this thread of a dying soul, and she finds herself kind of encaptured by this magic that is also around the soul, and she doesn't really know what this magic is. She's like, oh, it's fascinating, it's witchcraft. I haven't seen this in so long. And suddenly she's trapped in a mortal body. She's now human. And she must team up with this princess who was the one who trapped her in that body. Accidentally, she was trying to save her sister who was dying in the moment. And this princess, Bellis, has lost her mom. She's basically lost her sister too, because her sister's soul was gone already, but her body is still alive. So she's just this empty husk of a body, just kind of sitting there where they left her. And so they're going on this little quest to go to like the entrance of the underworld, essentially. They're gonna go so that Melek can like fix her shit, get her powers back. And then also Bellis wants to bring her sister's soul back because according to Milk, it like her sister's soul hasn't passed into the underworld, if you will. It's like hovering at the doors kind of a thing. So she's not in there yet. So she has a chance to being called back. I don't know. So far, I am really enjoying this book. Like, it is definitely a really good read. I'm really liking the characters, the way that they are two main characters, the way that they're interacting. We are also getting some interesting like backstory. We're getting some chapters that are called Bellis Before. So we're getting a look at her as a kid, which is really cool. I don't know why, but it's kind of nice having a little bit of backstory. And the fact that our main character is the Nightshade. Like, she is our character, which I think is so fascinating, because it is kind of a quirk of Molly O'Neill's writing so far, where we get these non-human entities, where we have Jenny Greenteeth from Greenteeth, who is a monster, and she is a fae being kind of a thing. So we have her point of view in Greenteeth, and now we have a goddess's point of view in Nightshade and Oak, which I think is so fun. I love that. I love when authors play with POV and stuff like that. But yes, I also am holding up a little, this is a Nightshade and Oak bookmark, which was part of the pre-order package. I also have a piece of art somewhere on my desk from this pre-order package, like pre-order goodies. I love a pre-order goodie. I really do. If an author that I've pre-ordered a book from has pre-order goodies that are available in Canada, you bet your ass I'll be all over that. I love that. And because Molly O'Neill was a favorite of last year, I'm just so excited to keep reading this. Like right now, I'm only 68, 69 pages in, and I don't know if it's necessarily a new favorite yet, but we shall see how this goes. We shall see how the rest of it goes, but I'm having a great time, and that's awesome. So this is the second book I'm reading for this video. First one I'm actually talking to you guys about. But I definitely have just so many books that I want to be reading for this, because I have, as I said, read only 4 physical TBR books. And the last 2 books I read were An Arcane Inheritance and The Poet Empress. Listen, Arcane Inheritance got 3 stars, but The Poet Empress was a fucking banger. And I had such a good time with it. I gave it 4.5 stars. What a dynamic motherfucking banger of a fucking debut. Holy shit. Like, it was so good. I'm so excited to see what else she comes out with. Like, that is just, it was genuinely such a good book. I had a great time with it. So we loved it. I'm really here for anything that deals with seeing what characters and what humans will do for their loved ones, for power, for like, how far would you go to protect your loved ones, kind of a thing. That's such an interesting question that is examined in here. And I love the questions that are like, how far would you go to protect yourself? How far would you go to protect your people? Like, whatever you are most loyal to, and what would break you? Like, where's your line, you know, morally and all that kind of stuff. So had a great time with The Poet Empress. Less so with An Arcane Inheritance, but that's just because I had many opinions and the craft of it wasn't great. But it was better than the first Camilla Cole book that I read, which was So Let Them Burn, which was a 1 star. So it's only up from there, really. But I don't know if I will be really checking out anything else of hers unless I'm super interested in the concept of the story. And even then, it'll probably be through the library. I won't buy another one of her books, I don't think, unless I read it and love it. But yeah, I've hauled 4 books this month, and I've read so far 2 of them because I ended up buying The Everlasting, which wasn't an addition to the TBR. It was just an addition to the shelves because I read it as a library book and loved it so much that I need it in my life. And I'm genuinely thinking of getting a tattoo from it. Like, that book is so good. So I had to get that one. I had to. Currently reading Nightshade and Oak, and the other one that I got this month was Agnes Aubert, this cutie little cozy. So I don't know if I'm going to read this one next or if I'm going to continue with the original plan, which is The Sacred Space Between, or this Emily Austen. I got lots of options, you guys. I would like to read more people of color books though. The only other one that I have here currently, the only other books I have around me are library books, which is not the point of these videos. So we shall see what I read next. I'm very happy that I read and loved The Poet Empress. That wasn't an original plan of this video, but I guess we're including it because it is still a new release. So far, the new releases of what I've been reading have been okay. So yay for that. But yeah, I have lots of options. Love that so much. We shall see what I feel about Nightshade and Oak as I keep going through it. But that is the update, my friends. 60 some odd pages through this. We shall see how I feel about it, but I'm having a good time so far. I trust Molly O'Neill. And I trust her storytelling. So it's gonna be really fascinating to see where this one goes. Hello friends! It is officially March 12th right now. I would love to have this video, specifically the one that you're seeing, up tomorrow for you guys. So it has been an absolute kerfuffle of a TBR side quest. I need to go at TBR side quests in a more methodical way than I have been doing. Because let me tell you, my friends, I have read so many books in this video and my TBR has gained 2 books. My TBR, it went down to 187 and it was at 187 for a little while. I've read Anarchic Inheritance, Poet Empress, and Nightshade and Oak in this video. And I bought 2 books. I bought a book, I broke my bookbang ban because I bought The Trident and the Pearl for Sarah K.L. Wilson's author event that happened recently. I also got another pre-order. I am not reading my TBR books fast enough and I'm still bringing in too many, even with my rule of like no buying books. And then I broke it anyways because I'm weak. AKA went to an author event and felt bad not having a book, not buying a book, you know? I feel bad when I go to an author event and I don't have something for them to sign. So here's what we're gonna do leading into the next episode, because I know what the next TBR episode is going to be, and that is going to be a big fucking unhaul. I need to do a taste test for any books that I'm on the fence for. I need to do a massive cull of my TBR, and we are going to manhandle this shit down because it's at the point where if I don't intentionally go at this to lower my TBR, it just hovers around the same level. Like, we've been at 190 books since last year on the TBR, and I'm getting annoyed at myself for this because that's not the point of this video series. This video series, the point of it is to read the books down. You know what I mean? So I don't even know. I'm in the middle of editing this video so that I can have it up tomorrow. Here's the plan, my guys. So I have almost read all of the books that were on this TBR, or what I mentioned at the beginning of this video, because I ended up reading Anarchic Inheritance. I read, where's my thing? The Poet Empress, and then Nightshade and Oak, which I will talk about. Don't worry about it, because I don't believe I talked about that. My thoughts, my finishing thoughts on that one. And I finished February with those 3 books. And then in March, so far, I have read an ARC and a library book. That doesn't help me because not only have I hauled my pre-orders for February were Nightshade and Oak and Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter. I called it Cat Cafe earlier. That's just a better title. Cat Cafe is a better title. The alliteration. Agnes Aubert Cat Cafe makes more sense than Mystical Cat Shelter. It's fine. I didn't write the book. I have no say. So I got those 2 books, and then I got the Aardvark book box, The Poet Empress, which I since have read. So I've read 2 of those at least, and then I just haven't read Agnes Aubert. I need to do a cozy edition of this because I have a bunch of cozy books that I have lingering in my peripherals at all times. I say that because they're on my fireplace mantle. And then I also bought a book that I had previously read because I read it from the library, The Everlasting, and then I picked up a physical copy of it because I just could not stop myself. I've hauled so many things, and I've been tracking what I've been hauling in, obviously, but I've also been tracking what I'm like actively reading off the TBR versus what I'm doing a balancing the books. If you guys ever watched Drinking by My Shelf, by Emma. She no longer really makes videos. She does very, very, very rarely. I loved her videos so much, and she always did a balancing the books every month. So was like, okay, like how many did I read off my TBR and how many did I bring onto my TBR? And I was like, that's a great idea. So I've been doing that. So far in January, I read 1 and then I brought 3 books on. And then in February, I read 4 and brought 4 more on. So it is a wash. Guys, I'm so kerfuffled about this. So as I said, we are going to be doing the next TBR Sidequest episode, not this one, is going to be a on-haul. It's going to be a chopping block one. I've hauled these 2 books specifically this month. The Trident and the Pearl by Sarah K. L. Wilson, which I am currently reading because I started reading it literally the night that I picked it up because I didn't want to actively put it on my owned books list on my Storygraph. I was just like, if I read it right away, I don't have to put it on that list. I can just mark it as physical TBR and have it read immediately so it doesn't affect my TBR. I'm still in the middle of it. I need to actually finish this. And then I also picked up Entwined by Hannah Long yesterday because it was published this Tuesday, March 10th, which I'm so excited about. You guys know how much I love Hannah Long. These are the 2 books that I've hauled in March. Here's the plan for this video, okay? For the rest of this video, you and me, bestie. Tonight, I'm going to read another book that I mentioned in this video already, all in one. I'm gonna just do that with This Is a Cry for Help by Emily Austen, which is another brand new book because I really want to read this. And I went with my friends to her signing at the end of February, which was so much fun. I got to meet Emily Austen, so I would really like to read this amazing, wonderful book. I'm already predicting it's gonna be amazing and so fun. So this is what we're gonna do tonight. I'm gonna read all of this in one sitting, which is not gonna be hard for me. This is gonna be like 2-3 hours of reading for me. So that is what I'm going to do. And we're gonna polish off this video with 188 books. We're gonna just be back where we started. That's really what this is about. I am a catastrophe because I didn't load this one onto my Storygraph thing. Last night I loaded this one on there, so that brought us back up to 188. So this brings us to 189. And once I read this, that will bring us back down to 188. So we're ending this video where we started it because I'm a fucking mess. And going forward, I need to be more strategic about these videos and actually read like 3 books in a row for these videos to like make a difference in the TBR. That's besides the point. That's my little rant at myself as I do that. And I also am abhorrent about telling you guys things about books. So I read Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill. I enjoyed it. It was not nearly as a book for me as Green Teeth was because Green Teeth is like my perfect book ever. And Nightshade and Oak was lovely, beautiful. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I definitely think it's a beautiful historical fantasy, but it just didn't quite hit the way that I wanted it to. I didn't connect to the characters the way that I wanted to. So nothing on the book, all on me. Yeah, that book was, it was interesting. I love when a book starts a quest and like our characters have a very clear goal and then we finish that quest in the first 30-40% of the book. And then it's like, oh, like we're going to keep going from here, but where are we going to keep going? Because we don't know. Like it's no longer following that original quest line. It's kind of new and exciting and it amps up the intrigue for me. And that's what we got with this one. We got a quest to the underworld in the first 30-40% of the book. And then we had a complete change in what was going on. And I really enjoyed that. And it kind of is a little bit similar to what Green Teeth does as well. Love that. I love that. And I'm going to continue to read Molly O'Neill's books as they write books because I definitely love the way that they create stories and they create characters. Because between Green Teeth and this one, we have 2 non-human main characters. I say non-human. Our character in Nightshade and Oak is a goddess who's put into a human body. Like she becomes mortal for the length of the story. And so she's human in that way, but she's not human in mind and in soul. Like she has no experiences being human, right? So she is experiencing being human and mortal and weak and tiny for the first time in her life, which was really interesting to read. And then of course, Green Teeth, we are following Jenny Green Teeth, who is a creature from myth and legend. So I love the way that Molly O'Neill picks main characters of their books because fuck yeah, absolutely 10 out of 10. That is my rant. That is my update. I am so shit at this. I keep adding things onto my list. And not only did I pick up Entwined the other day, I have an aardvark book coming in. I should have skipped this month. I really should have, because now I'm overwhelmed all over again, which is why we're making the next TBR one a huge cull. We're just gonna go at the TBR with a hatchet and just remove all the books because I'm also in the mood to like completely cull my shelves because I have a lot of books just sitting around that need to somehow fit back on the shelves, which they will not. So I need to rip things off the shelves to make room. And I need to be more mindful of what I'm reading and what I'm grabbing onto my shelves and all that kind of stuff. So we're resetting. We're finishing this video with Is This a Cry for Help by Emily Austen so that we finish another book. And then next one, we're gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. Hello, friends. All right, it is much later. I finished the book like an hour ago. And I've just been sitting here like, I don't know how to feel. This book is so simple and lovely, and it's such a little slice of life and covers like change and new things happening, and it's little like vignettes of life as you go through, and it just, I don't know why it like hit me so hard at the end, but I sat here and my like chest and my stomach hurt, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like this follows Darcy as she goes back to work after having a mental breakdown when her ex-boyfriend from like a decade ago passes away, and she hears about it and it sends her into like a mental break, and she comes back to work, and it's this moment of her coming back to work and her sister-in-law having a baby and her wife going to go spend time with that new child and like help her sister out, and then Darcy finds a stray cat, and there's also some issues at work with people and what is that called? Censorship. There we go. An issue with censorship and like the community around Darcy's library all up in arms about something about the fact that there was a patron watching porn in public and there's like rules in the library, and she just was like, oh yeah, no, just mute it. Like, it's as long as you're not actively like masturbating or causing harm, or the porn isn't causing harm or whatever, like what can you do, right? Like, there's, I don't know. And then it kind of gets into the community, and like a person complains, and then a journalist gets all up in arms about it. All this sorts of stuff becomes a big issue all throughout this as well. We also have an interesting relationship with Mordecai, one of her coworkers, and she also gets these weird bird fact questions from someone that she doesn't really know. And it's just like this little slice of life, lit fic that is hopeful and lovely, and it's full of like queer joy, and it's her grappling with the grief and this like feeling of that she's responsible for her ex-boyfriend's death in some way and responsible for his unhappiness. And there's also many interspersed conversations with her therapist in here, and it's just like it doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really do anything huge. It's beautiful. It's just it's like a little slice of life, and I fucking loved it. I really enjoyed this book. Really enjoyed it. I'm gonna be thinking about it for a really long time. Holy shit. But alright, my friends, that brings us to the end of this vlog. I read An Arcane Inheritance, The Poet Empress, Nightshade and Oak, and Is This a Cry for Help by Emily Austen. All new books that have come out in the past little bit, and honestly I would recommend them all in different ways. Hell yeah. I'm all contemplative now. Anyways, my friends, I'm gonna leave this video here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Apologies for my weird mood earlier also. I was raging at the machine, aka me and my dumb little brain, but we've rectified it. The next TBR Sidequest is gonna be fun. I have a good feeling about it because I've already filmed the first clip for it and I've already unhauled a fuck ton of books off the TBR. So stay tuned, make sure to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you know when I upload. I'll catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.